As a fan looking at the Orioles here in 2025, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you look at this team, either on paper, watching them on TV, or whatever? It's lifeless, right? Or something along those lines. It's not something that we've seen out of pretty much these same players in 2023 and the beginning of 2024. We started to see a little bit of it in the second half last year. I'm pretty sure a lot of people had high expectations for that to kind of go away of what we saw at the end of last year and get an exciting 2025. They go up into that opening series in Toronto. They look pretty good. What we have seen the last 12 games or so is becoming concerning. And I know a lot of people really kind of want to blame Brandon Hyde, rightfully so. You know, there's some blame that gets thrown there. There's some blame that needs to be thrown at Mike Elias. And there's some blame that needs to be thrown on the players and other coaches too. I mean, right now, the collective Baltimore Orioles is lifeless. And that's just the best way that I can describe it. Do I want to solely blame Brandon Hyde? Not 100%. No, I don't. Brandon's been given this roster, and he can't go out there and make the defensive plays for the guys. He can't go out there and take their at-bats for them. Would I like to see some more emotion from him? Yeah. Would I like to see some more emotion from the players for him? Yeah. Well, what concerns me the most, honestly, is maybe how he kind of goes about his press conferences. Like listen to this clip.
We're having a tough time letting things go. So we're letting at-bats kind of steamroll on us a little bit. It's showing up on our defense at times as well. But we got to, no one's going to feel sorry for us. This is the big leagues, and you got to be able to bring it every night. You got to be able to turn the page.
When you hear this clip, guys are struggling to let go, and it's carrying over into the field. This concerns me. For one, you're basically telling me that these guys are not mature enough to just let go of failure, even if they've never faced it before. And two, you're publicly calling them out for being kind of soft. How does a locker room bounce back from that? Like sometimes, some people react to being called soft, or they react to criticism and stuff like that in a positive way. And some people shut down. And what I'm afraid of is what I'm hearing Brandon Hyde say this is these guys shut down. Do I think they're shutting down? No. I am just a little concerned hearing that. And when you hear comments like this, calling out players and stuff, and I've heard Buck Showalter say before it, sometimes we speak to the player through the press conference because they listen to him, which is fine. We need to be better at base running. Certain guys need to know what they're doing out in the outfield. That stuff is fine. But when you're saying that certain guys or all of them are compounding failures and struggling to let that go, that doesn't sit well with me. That means that something is going on. And I mean, is it his job to control that? Sure, maybe a little bit of it. But again, I mean, his lineups have been wonky. Don't get me wrong. I've complained about them plenty of times. They've seemed to have gotten better. Guys are getting more consistent playing time, and they're still not producing as a collective unit here. Not everybody's absolutely terrible, but I mean, what they've done against left-handed pitching this year is abysmal. They're 1-12 when trailing after 5 this year. So they've only come back and win 1 game. So if they don't get out to an early lead, game's over. And again, that goes back to the whole mental toughness thing. Is Brandon Hyde telling us that they're just not mentally tough to go win these games? Because in 2023, we watched them do it a lot of times. It didn't matter the score. That team was never out of the game. And it's a lot of the same kids, but they've gotten better, or they're supposed to have gotten better. So, it's just everything's kind of compounding at once. The pitching, Brandon Hyde was given this pitching staff, and he's got to make do with what he's got. Could he make maybe some better decisions? Sure, whatever. But pitching sucks. There's no sugarcoating that. That one falls on Mike Elias. Needing a veteran in the lineup falls on Mike Elias. Did you get Tyler O'Neill? Sure. Yeah, you did. Was Gary Sanchez a veteran in the lineup? No. Why does Adley Rutschman only catch against right-handed pitchers? Why? He's only got 280 career at-bats against left-handed pitchers in 167 games. So that's about 1.67 at-bats per game. So that means to tell me that pretty much when Adley's catching, he's just facing lefty relievers. Caught against left-handed starters here and there. I understand that. But it's not enough. Is it a way to get your backup catcher in the game because he's right-handed? Sure. The analytics are stupid. I'm going to throw that out there. They're stupid. And I'm an analytical guy. When they put this stuff together, look, the guy's hot, man. The guy's hot. I don't care about righty-lefty matchups. I don't care if Ryan O'Hearn can't hit guys that are left-handed. You know what he does in the at-bats, though? He grinds it out. He's tough with 2 strikes. He tries to find a way. We're not seeing that, period, right now. So, again, is this all Brandon Hyde's fault? Not all of it. Not all of it. What I would like to see, though, and it would help me be reassured that it's not Brandon Hyde's fault, is the guys just playing hard and playing hard for him. We've heard guys kind of, stick up for him and whatnot. But the best way to show that you have your manager's back is when it's late in the game. And if he makes a mistake or something like that, and you pick him up in the lineup, you score a couple runs, not just lay dead when you're losing after the 5th inning. I don't care if the starters give up 3-4 runs in the first 5 innings. You're a good offense. Score 4 runs. You still got 4 other at-bats to score runs. Don't roll over. And when I see these lifeless at-bats late in the game, 7 of those 12 games that they've played this year where they've lost after losing in the 5th inning, 7 of those, they were down by less than 3 runs. 7 times they were down by 3 runs or less, and they did not fight to tie or take the lead. So again, that goes back to the players just having lifeless at-bats. How do you get better from here? Well, first it starts is, have you pissed off the guys with your press? Have you pissed off the locker room with some of the comments that you've made in the end game press conferences? No? Okay, good. You can build from that, right? Just hitting a slump, you find a way to get out of it. If you have, you got to find a way to mend those relationships. Not the easiest thing in the world. Is getting rid of Brandon Hyde the best possible scenario for this team? Some people think so. You're not going to hire from outside the organization here. You're going to hire somebody within, and that's going to be probably a rookie manager at this point, either Trinios or Buck Britton. Tim Cousins has been around for a while, but no managing experience. Your base coaches, same kind of thing. They've been around a little bit, but no managerial experience. So do you want this team to be led by a rookie? That's a question you got to ask. And look, it just comes down to, do you even think any of this changes if Brandon Hyde's even let go? Do they just miraculously start hitting? Do they just miraculously start pitching better? Very well, they could. We don't know until you try. I get that point. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with the team. I don't even know if the Orioles know what's wrong. But the first thing I would fix is just tell them, look, you're playing for the name on the back of the jersey right now. Everybody wants to hear that you're playing for the name on the front, which is Baltimore. You're not. This is your career. These are your at-bats. These are your baseball cards. These are your stats. Only you can affect those outcomes. If you want to play better, play better. If you want to get caught up in the clubhouse drama, if there is any, it's going to affect your career. So hopefully these guys understand that. And look, if this is just some kind of funk, this is your career. Let's get it going. If it is a Brandon Hyde issue, hopefully this is addressed sooner rather than later. And if it's just collectively everybody mad at Mike Elias because this is the roster he was giving us, figure it out. Figure it out. Get yourself in a position to let Mike Elias redeem himself. Get within contention at the trade deadline and let him go do something. Let me know your guys' thoughts.